You've also described knowledge of the stories in the Bible as, quote, vital to proper psychological health. And you have a lecture series called The Psychological Significance of the Biblical Stories, so people can dive in there. But for those who have not studied the Bible, is this a study you recommend to everyone? And if so, why?
I don't know if I would recommend anything to everyone. Our culture grew out of the Bible. It's grounded in the Bible, for better or worse. And so if you want to know who you are and why you think the way you think, like you think you know the way you think. You think you think. You don't, or very rarely. Thoughts are greater than you are. Some sense. It's very rare that you think something that someone else hasn't thought. I can't remember who said it. Might have been Alfred North Whitehead, that everyone's the unconscious proponent of some philosopher. Thought exists in a hierarchy, especially in relationship to value. And the more profound the thought, the more it deals with fundamental values. And the fundamental value is one upon which many other values depend. That's the technical definition of a hierarchy. I can give you an example. So, for example, imagine you're in a committed relationship. You and your wife have an arrangement to do the dishes, and it's her turn and she doesn't do them. Well, that's a minor league ontological shock because, well, it has implications possibly for her honesty, and perhaps not. Maybe she was tired that night. God only knows. But it's a deviation from what's expected. And, generally those things are knitted up pretty quickly. And whether or not your wife does the dishes when she's supposed to once really doesn't destabilize you that much because not much else depends on it. Now, if she did it 10 times or something like that, well, then you might start to question her commitment to your agreements, and then you might question her honesty, and then you might question your relationship. You can go down a rabbit hole pretty quickly. But if your partner has an affair, that tends to be quite a shock because you've modeled your plans for behavior and even for perception of the world on the assumption of fidelity. And if that assumption is demolished, then all those plans dissolve, and then the uncertainty comes rushing in, and that's very hard on you psychophysiologically.